Blessed we are to dance on this ground, with the rhythm of saints to carry the sound. Say a prayer for all life and the days yet to come. May you walk in beauty and remember your song. Blessed we are to dance on this ground, with the rhythm of saints to carry the sound. Say a prayer for all life and the days yet to come. May you walk in beauty and remember your song. Remember why you came here. Remember your life is sacred. Remember why you came here. Remember your life is sacred. Blessed we are to dance on this ground, with the rhythm of saints to carry the sound. Say a prayer for all life and the days yet to come. May you walk in beauty and remember your song.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the First Unitarian Congregation of Ottawa. My name is Susan Mackenzie, and I am pleased to serve as Worship Associate this morning. Normally, if you would like more information about FirstU, it would be available at the welcome table at the back of the pews. However, while our building is shut down because of COVID-19, you may instead contact us through email at welcome@firstunitarianottawa.ca. Once again, for more information about First Unitarian Congregation of Ottawa, please email us at welcome@firstunitarianottawa.ca. After this and future services, for a while yet, our usual hospitality hour will be replaced by a virtual get-together on Zoom. If you would like to join us for hospitality hour, information on how to do this is available on our website, firstunitarianottawa.ca, or in our weekly email newsletter, the EUU. Whatever your heritage, whatever your faith, whomever you love, and however you identify, today you are a part of our spiritual community. Welcome. We hope you come back soon.
Bonjour. Good morning, everyone. I'm the Reverend Patricia Guthmann Haresch, minister at the First Unitarian Congregation of Ottawa. Although the doors to our building are closed to do our part in preventing the spread of disease, we still are a vibrant congregation with open minds, open hearts and spirits. This morning I welcome you into my home and the homes of our music director, our director of religious exploration, and this morning's worship associate. Thank you for welcoming us into your home. It's a beautiful thing to think that even though we are in separate places, protecting ourselves and others by staying away from a crowd, here we are together online, listening, connecting, and soon singing. I hope this moment finds you well. A few more announcements. While the building is closed, staff are working remotely from home and are monitoring their emails during the regular workday hours. But phone calls won't be monitored as frequently, so if you want a quicker message, you should email. As we won't be seeing each other in person now more than ever, it's important to be signed up for our weekly email newsletter, the EUU. Check our Facebook page as well and our website for notices and updates. If you look at our calendar, you will see it's as full as ever. There were a few things to mention in Friday's EUU this past Friday. It included information on our 9 a.m. Sunday morning forums, the weekly religious exploration lesson, very importantly, information on how to connect with our this year's annual general meeting, which will be next Sunday, June 21st. And also our last informational session about the audited statements will be tomorrow night, Monday. Again, look to the EUU for information and details. There's information on how to do your own wills and powers of attorney. We will have sessions on those. Also learn how to acquire masks, about virtual summer choir nights, how to hook up with the trivia quiz night, virtual check-ins, how to help organizations in the community during this COVID-19 time. So much is in the EUU. Do check it out. If you are reluctant or you're having trouble connecting with our Zoom conferences, so much we're doing now is by Zoom and virtually, let us know and we'll have a ready team there ready to help you figure it all out. You can also phone in without a device and hook up with our Zoom conferences. Email zoominfo@firstunitarianottawa.ca, zoominfo@firstunitarian.ca, and they can help you with your connections. Anyway, it's so good to be with you this morning. Today we are celebrating our annual flower communion, but it's not just about celebrating flowers. For the creator of the flower communion, Norbert Čapek, the communion was about a diverse group of people coming together from different faith backgrounds and finding a place of unity, bringing something to the circle of those gathered and receiving something to bring back home. The diversity of the flowers also was a reminder of the individuality and the individual beauty of each person in the congregation, bringing all the different flowers together into one big, colorful bouquet. In these troubled times, when we are grieving over and enraged by the work still to be done around the issues of race, may we be reminded of the beauty, dignity, and worth of each individual and the beauty of all of us in our diversity coming together into harmony, peace, equity, and justice. Let us do now what we can to make that vision real. So as Alex lights the chalice, go ahead, buddy. You can light the chalice. I read these words, our first lesson today from flowers from the Buddhist temple of Chicago. Thank you, buddy. Such a solemn world of flowers, such a spectacle. All beings are living brightness, fulfilled with brightness of the earth, under the heavens, flowers of gratitude, flowers of sorrow, flowers of suffering, flowers of joy, laughter's flowers, anger's flowers, each connected to the others, and each helping the others grow. When our real mind's eye opens to this world of flowers, all beings shine. Music echoes through mountains and oceans. You were born of these flowers. You gave birth to these flowers. You are love. You are the flower. All beings shine out of their uniqueness and melt into the oneness of colors, of many colors. May it be so. Let us sing our chalice song.
Chalice, chalice.
everyone, it's Nao, your Director of Religious Exploration. Hope everyone is doing great on this day. The story that I'm sharing with you today is titled The Tiny Seed, and it's by Eckhart Tolle. Hope you enjoy the story, and I wish everyone a beautiful day full of flowers, blossoms, and all of nature's beauty. Enjoy the story. Eckhart Tolle, The Tiny Seed. It is autumn. A strong wind is blowing. It blows flower seeds high in the air and carries them far across the land. One of the seeds is tiny, smaller than any of the others. Will it be able to keep up with the others? And where are they all going? One of the seeds flies higher than the others. Up, up it goes. It flies too high and the sun's hot rays burn it up. But the tiny seed sails on with the others. Another seed lands on a tall and icy mountain. The ice never melts, and the seed cannot grow. The rest of the seeds fly on, but the tiny seed does not go as fast as the others. Now they fly over the ocean. One seed falls into the water and drowns. The others sail on with the wind, but the tiny seed does not go as high as the others. One seed drifts down onto the desert. It is hot and dry, and the seed cannot grow. Now the tiny seed is flying very low, but the wind pushes it on with the others. Finally, the wind stops and the seed falls gently down on the ground. A bird comes by and eats one seed. The tiny seed is not eaten. It is so small that the bird does not see it. Now it is winter. After the long trip, the seed settles down. They look just as if they are going to sleep in the earth. Snow falls and covers them like a soft white blanket. A hungry mouse that also lives in the ground eats a seed for his lunch, but the tiny seed lies very still and the mouse does not see it. Now it is spring. After a few months the snow has melted. It is really spring. Birds fly by. The sun shines, rain falls. The seeds grow so round and full they start to burst open a little. Now they are not seeds anymore. They are plants. First they send roots down into the earth. Then their little stems and leaves begin to grow up toward the sun and air. There is another plant that grows much faster than the new little plants. It is a big, fat weed, and it takes all the sunlight and the rain away from one of the small new plants, and the little plant dies. The tiny seed hasn't begun to grow yet. It will be too late. Hurry! But finally, it too starts to grow into a plant. The warm weather also brings the children out to play. They too have been waiting for the sun and springtime. One child doesn't see the plants as he runs along, and oh, he breaks one. Now it cannot grow anymore. The tiny plant that grew from the tiny seed is growing fast, but its neighbors grow even faster. Before the tiny plant has 3 leaves, the other plant has 7. And look, a bud, and now even a flower. But what is happening? First there are footsteps, then a shadow looms over them. Then a hand reaches down and breaks off the flower. A young man has picked a flower to give to a friend. It is summer. Now the tiny plant from the tiny seed is all alone. It grows on and on. It doesn't stop. The sun shines on it and the rain waters it. It has many leaves. It grows taller and taller. It is taller than the people. It is taller than the trees. It is taller than the houses. And now a flower grows on it. People come from far and near to look at this flower. It is the tallest flower they have ever seen. It is a giant flower. All summer long, the birds and bees and butterflies come visiting. They have never seen such a big and beautiful flower. Now it is autumn again. The days grow shorter, the nights grow cooler, and the wind carries yellow and red leaves past the flower. Some petals drop from the giant flower, and they sail along with the bright leaves over the land and down to the ground. The wind blows harder. The flower has lost almost all of its petals. It sways and bends away from the wind, but the wind grows stronger and shakes the flower. Once more, the wind shakes the flower, and this time the flower's seed pod opens. Out come many tiny seeds that quickly sail far away on the wind.
This is the time in the service when we are drawn closer to the heart of love at our center and hold those both near and far, loved ones and strangers, in our heart. In the words of Alice Berry, we are nurtured, sustained, given warmth and light from above and below, supported by earth's strong, firm crust. When we turn from self and seek to be aware, we will find holy light in human faces, in blossom, birdsong, and sky. Then earth is truly our home, and we are one with all earth's creatures. Today I place stones in the water that some of you have asked me to place for those you are thinking of, joys and concern. So first, a stone of joy. Congratulations to Burl's. Now she said great niece, but I think she meant great grand niece. Either way, she's probably great, and we know this is true. Congratulations to Burl's great niece, graduating in distinction in arts from the University of Toronto. It's a time for so many graduates. So how about some more stones for some more graduates that I've heard about? Don't let this odd year be a shadow over the accomplishments you all have had. Another stone. This one is personal for someone who asked me to just drop a personal stone for them. And so for you, I drop this stone in silence. Also a few stones. I'm thinking of all those parents with daughters and especially sons with dark skin who are afraid of what society thinks of them, who worry about their safety and wonder if their son is seen as a threat or trouble just by walking down the street. I've been thinking about all those parents who envisioned their own children in the street, on the ground, when they saw the images of George Floyd and all those who came before him. Those stones, more stones I'll drop in the water, are of love and solidarity. May we do all we can do to turn society around so that all may see that your child, your children, every child, is the beautiful shining being that they are. And one last stone. May you envision all the weight of the world in this stone and let it sink into the water. Let it sink and let the heaviness be washed away, and may you start to feel the levity and lightness of summer lift you. One last stone for all the sadness and wonders of this earth. May we hold the joys and sorrows of this gathered community and this interdependent world of which we are a part. May we hold them in our hearts and join together in a moment of silence. Let us be still together.
Today we celebrate our annual UU Flower Communion. The Flower Communion was created by Norbert Čapek. He founded the Unitarian Church in a country known as Czechoslovakia in his day. His congregation grew to 3,200 people the largest Unitarian congregation ever. He wanted to do something that would bring his very diverse community together, make everyone feel welcome. There were people who had left conservative Protestantism, left the Catholic Church, and former Jews, so he knew a traditional Christian communion with wine and bread would not work. Čapek turned his eyes to the beauty of the countryside around him and introduced this special service in his Czech church on June 4, 1923, almost 100 years ago. In 1941, Čapek was arrested by the Gestapo, tried, and the next year put to death. His wife Maya brought the flower communion to the United States in 1940, and since then it has become a tradition in UU congregations all over the world.
Thank you, Susan. Each year, like in Čapek's service at FirstU, we have brought flowers from our own yards or wherever we gather them from in greenery, and we've brought them to the sanctuary, and there they were arranged together. And as I mentioned, for Čapek, it was like seeing the diversity of all, and all had their own place in the congregation. And together the different flowers from the different places formed beautiful bouquets. No bouquet would be the same without the unique addition of each individual contribution. People brought in their flowers, and then people would pick a different flower to take home with them, remembering this beautiful service and bringing something of the congregation back home with them. This year it's different, but we still have some shared visions of your beautiful contributions and flowers today. So let us see what folks have shared with us all today. you for all those beautiful flowers and images. Let us bless these gifts that we've received with words I've adapted from one of Dr. Čapek's blessings. Spirit of life, blessings on these messengers of fellowship and love. May they remind us amid diversities of knowledge and of gifts to be one in desire and affection and devotion to that which is holy and good. May they also remind us of the value of comradeship, of doing and sharing alike. May we cherish friendship as one of the most precious gifts. May we not let awareness of another's talents discourage us or spoil our relationships, but may we realize that whatever we can do, great or small, the efforts of all of us are needed to do the great work of this world. Each image, each flower was a gift from one in this community and a gift from the earth. So final words adapted from Dr. Čapek, in which he would use to close up his flower communion. May the seed of the future be planted now in the hearts of us longing to live in love. Let us renew our resolution sincerely to be real brothers and sisters, regardless of any kind of bar which estranges one from another. May we be strengthened, knowing that we are one human family, one in the interconnected universe of which we are a part. That one Spirit, the Spirit of love, unites us, and may we endeavor for a more perfect and joyful life. May it be so. We've been learning about what flowers represent to us, lessons from flowers. So here's a wonderful lesson from the Buddhist monk, poet, author, peace activist Thich Nhat Hanh. I think he writes this in Pieces Every Step. Flowers and garbage are both organic. So looking deeply into the nature of a flower, you can see the presence of the compost and the garbage. The flower is also going to turn into garbage, but don't be afraid. You are a gardener and have in your hands the power to transform garbage into flowers, into fruit, into vegetables. You don't throw anything away because you're not afraid of the garbage. Your hands are capable of transforming it into flowers or lettuce or cucumbers. So if only we could see garbage in our lives. We could look beyond the mess and realize both flowers and garbage are organic. Well, not all garbage is organic, but you know what I mean. See beyond the compost and all the piles of paper and realize that we might have the power to transform garbage into flowers. Isn't that a lesson to pass on to all the graduates this spring? There is hope after the pandemic. If we take all this stuff, all this that's going on, whether it's good or bad, the tumult, this disparity that we're seeing, take it all and somehow make it into flowers, something beautiful. There is so much to be learned from flowers. My message today was inspired by our Director of Religious Exploration, Nao. She sent me a quote from Eckhart Tolle that just got me thinking. In it, he imagines the first flower. Perhaps, he says, 114 million years ago, one morning, just after sunrise, the first flower ever to appear on the planet opens up to receive the rays of the sun. He explains that prior to the first flower there, Earth had already been covered in vegetation for millions of years. The first flower probably did not survive for long, and flowers must have remained a rare and isolated phenomena, since conditions were most likely not yet favorable for a widespread flowering to occur. The flowers couldn't do it on their own. Another good lesson from flowers. They needed insects, and insects needed flowers. And so flowers and insects evolved together until, as Tolle describes, one day a critical threshold was reached, and suddenly there would have been an explosion of color and scent all over the planet. And like insects, we were attracted to and evolved with flowers. Journalist and professor Michael Pollan shares a theory from evolutionary psychologists that becoming good foragers is how humans have spent 99% of their time on Earth. The presence of flowers is a reliable predictor of future food. People who were drawn to flowers and who further could distinguish among them would be much more successful foragers than people who were blind or did not perceive their significance. In time, the moment of recognition, much like the quickening one feels whenever an object of desire is spotted in the landscape, in the moment of recognition would become pleasurable, and the signifying thing, a thing of beauty. An article by Huss Joseph, see, I started to look into this. I was fascinated. An article by Huss, Joseph, and Zakai on human relationships with flowers from the Behavioral Sciences journal notes. Humans have always been strangely attracted to flowers, even when they provide practically no physical sustenance and when resources are low. Humans have also put embodied and physical effort into growing flowers for only their aesthetic qualities. Stone drawings of flowers were found in ancient Egyptian graves 120,000 years ago, were celebrated in festivals in Roman times, and in China were created in silk 2,000 or so years ago. After a while, it wasn't for food. It was just for the beauty and the experience and what they symbolized. The report continues, while flowers can provide some basic medicinal uses and serve as a sign of the fertility of the land, the main motivation for growing flowers seems to be aesthetic. However, this goes beyond perceptual levels. Now, I will say, we do need flowers to attract insects to help us to grow the rest of our stuff, right? I mean, you got to have bugs and stuff. Anyway, and also doesn't every plant have a flower? I'm trying to remember the cycle. But anyway, the point is they want to say we only grow flowers for the aesthetic experience. However, this goes beyond perceptual levels, as flowers are a multi-sensory experience that includes smell, texture, and color, and an embodied experience in that one has to actively search for flowers with his or her body, to tend them and to bend over them, to smell them. The experience is also relational in that flowers are dependent on people's care. They have to be handled gently. Don't step on them. They have to be watered and nurtured. The findings of the report was that embodied relational experiences like those people enjoy with flowers causes people to be happy. It's not just practical. Eckhart Tolle suggests that flowers were most likely the first things that humans came to value that had no utilitarian purpose for them. Like the scientific article says, they just caused people to be happy. Now, I'll make the case that actually creating art in the origins also was something that people seem to do sometimes for religious purposes, but also sometimes for pleasure. I'm just saying, there's something about us that does this. We like to be happy. I think that helps us survive. Tolle recounts a common story that perhaps you've heard about the Buddha's silent sermon. Have you heard about this story? He held up a flower and gazed at it in silence for so long that it made people feel awkward. But after a while, one of those present, a monk, began to smile. And he was said to have been the only one who understood the sermon. According to legend, that smile, that is to say, realization, was handed down by 28 successive masters and much later became the origin of Zen. Have you seen the sermon or sermons of a flower in your silence when you contemplate flowers? Tolle notes that seeing beauty in a flower could awaken humans, however briefly, to the beauty that is an essential part of their own innermost being, their true nature. An innocent sweetness and beauty that are not of this world still shine through them, he says. They delight even relatively insensitive humans. The Reverend Marisol Caballero once ended a flower communion with a wonderful list of things that we can learn from flowers that I've adapted and will share just a part of it. She says, keep pushing until you break through. All flowers were once seeds. They persevered through what sometimes seems like impossible odds and just kept on pushing through the shell, through the dirt, until they saw the light of day. May we persevere against the odds, break through those barriers that keep us from doing what we know needs to be done to take care of ourselves and the world. Face in the direction of the sun. No matter where the sun is in the sky, flowers will turn their faces, yes, in the sun's direction. May we seek warmth and joy in our lives and move toward what will nurture us and help us grow. If you need help, ask a bee. Many types of flowers could not survive with a little help from their friends. As noted before, flowers need insects and insects need flowers. People help flowers grow. Sometimes it's hard to ask for help. Sometimes we'd rather do things ourselves. Independence is okay, just as long as our stubborn independence doesn't make us forget that we are actually all interdependent and we rely on each other more than we realize. May you accept help of friends and loved ones, those around you, neighbors. Rain has its bonuses. Rainy days can spoil fun, yes, but flowers couldn't bloom without it. Sometimes the gloomiest of times in the end nourish us like water, yes? Help us grow. Another bloomin' lesson is what Marisol says. Grow roots where the soil is nourishing. Flowers like to make their homes in a welcoming, nourishing environment. This is a great lesson for people. We should stop trying to thrive in unhealthy environments. But unlike flowers, we can help make a healthy environment, right? If you find yourself in winter, hang in there. Spring will come again for a time of blooming. Life is filled with cycles, yes? And I've heard this said before. In Canada, if you don't like the weather, just wait and it will get better. Hang in there. Remember the lesson from Thich Nhat Hanh, yes? That flowers and garbage are both organic in nature. So looking deeply into the nature of a flower, you see the presence of compost and garbage. And you know that the flower is also going to turn into garbage. But don't be afraid. You are a gardener, and you have in the hands the power to transform garbage into flowers, fruit, and vegetables. He continues with the lesson. The same thing is true for your happiness and your sorrow. Sorrow, fear, and depression are all a kind of garbage or compost. These bits of garbage are a part of real life, and we must look deeply into their nature. You can practice in order to turn these bits of garbage into flowers. It is not only your love that is organic, it is your hate too. So you should not throw anything out. All you have to do is learn to transform the garbage into flowers. We are all like flowers. Alone we are complex and beautiful, a source of shelter and sustenance to some. Yet we are connected with and interdependent upon everything around us. For flowers, it is the sun, rain, soil, bees, butterflies that they need. For us too, and it's all that and more. Gifts of food, energy, and materials from the earth, and nurturing love and service from others around us. Together, we are a field of waving, dancing flowers in the wind. Again, in the final prayer from Dr. Čapek. May the seed of the future be planted now in the hearts of each of us, longing to live in love. Let us renew our resolution sincerely to be real brothers and sisters, regardless of any kind of bar which estranges one from another. May we be strengthened knowing that we are one human family, one in the interconnected universe of which we are a part. That one spirit, the spirit of love, the spirit of love unites us, and may we endeavor for a more perfect and joyful life. Take care of yourself. May we be good to one another, and may our plantings of word and deed help to make our lives in this world a better place. May it be so.
At this time in the service, we usually pass the baskets to accept the offering. As we cannot do that these days, you may go to our website or contact our finance manager to find out how you might keep up with your pledge or make a donation. We give these gifts freely. We receive these gifts gratefully. We dedicate these gifts to the work of our congregation, serving human wholeness, caring for our planet, upholding religious freedom, loving one another. Now, let us sing hymn number 346, Come Sing a Song with Me.
Come sing a song with me. Come sing a song with me. Come sing a song with me. that I might know your mind. And I'll bring you hope when hope is hard to find. And I'll bring a song of love and a rose in the winter time. Come share a rose with me. Come share a rose with me. Come share a rose with me, that I might know your mind. And I'll bring you hope when hope is hard to find. And I'll bring a song of love and a rose in the winter time.
Before we extinguish the chalice, I read these closing words that are a poem from the late poet Anne Higginson Spicer called Carpe Diem. If this were my last day, I'm almost sure I'd spend it working in my garden. I would dig up my little plants and try to make them happy so they would endure long after me. Then I would hide secure where my green arbor shades me from the sky and watch how birds and bee and butterfly come hovering to every flower lure. Then as I rested, perhaps a friend or two, lovers of flowers, would come and we would walk, now hopefully 2 meters or 6 feet apart, yes. Lovers of flowers would come and we would walk about my little garden paths and talk of peaceful times when all the world seemed true. This may be my last day, for all I know. What a temptation just to spend it so. Let us sing Spirit of Life.
Spirit of life, come unto me. Sing in my heart all the stirrings of compassion. Blow in the wind, rise in the sea. Quod vidas mori de justitia, ternurimo, cielo potuo, source de vie, viens vers moi, viens vers moi.
May you have a chance to commune with beauty, beauty in nature, beautiful spirits, a good book. May you have a chance to commune with beauty this day. Go in peace, go in joy, go in love.
Edelweiss, every morning you greet me, small